Hey guys, welcome back. Today we're giving you our Week 15 fantasy football waiver wire pickups. That's right, Week 15. We're there almost. We're here to help you make all the right decisions on who you should target this week on your waivers and who you need to avoid. Let's start this fantasy football podcast right now.
Hit that drop. Hello and welcome to the Fantasy Football Upside. I am Justin. That is Kyle. Thanks for dropping by our Fantasy Football podcast and YouTube channel. We appreciate it. If you're here, we want to say congrats. You've made it to the second round of the playoffs, the semifinals. So if you've been listening to us, you made it this far, the playoffs, and now we're going to help you win that
championship.
And with that, we're going to give you our top waiver wire ads for Week 15. Holy cow, Kyle, we're Week 15, man.
Yeah.
Almost there to the championship. What you got for me?
Hey, you know what? Make sure you hit that subscribe button. We're going to be here all off season. We're going to get you through the championship here in the next couple weeks, guys. If you got a week 16 or heaven forbid a week 17,
don't be that guy.
Yeah, don't be that guy. If you got a week 17 championship, get out of that league. This is your last year in that league. Let them know that because they need to be a week 16 championship. But we're going to be here all off season. So make sure you hit that subscribe button as well as the bell. That way we can fill you in. We've got all kinds of content that we put out during the summer, rankings and other things like that. Way too early rankings. We like to do a little bit more fun type of games and stuff like that, where we pit players against one another and see which one we would take at the draft value and that sort of stuff. So hit that subscribe button. We'll see you all summer long. As far as Week 15, if you got any questions, make sure you drop the comments down below. Hit that drop that question in there because we're always asking.
Do you need assistance?
That's right. Do you need assistance? So let us know if you need that assistance. We will be more than happy to help out. Let's get into these waiver wire pickups. Let's dive in headfirst in the shallow end, and let's hit top waiver wire pickups for Week 15. Justin, who do you have at running back?
Running back, Jeff Wilson Jr., San Francisco 49ers, only 19% rostered. He looks to be the goal line back now for Kyle Shanahan in this offense. Granted, the offense isn't the greatest with Nick Mullins at center. Could be worse. But last week, Jeff Wilson had 11 carries, 31 yards, and a touchdown. He also threw in a 13-yard reception. He did have a costly fumble, so you do have to keep an eye on that. But they didn't bitch him for the whole game or anything like that. Now, Raheem Mostert is back.
Wait, they didn't Deontay Johnson him?
No, Jesus, man,
that'll teach him.
Oh my gosh. I mean, we're talking Deontay Johnson with talent level way through the roof, and Jeff Wilson. I mean, Don't get me wrong, Jeff Wilson's in the NFL, but he's just a guy right now compared to Deontay.
Yep.
But Raheem Mostert is back, but I don't think you can count on him, which is really tough for me to say because I got a lot of shares on Raheem Mostert, but he's in and out of the lineup every week. He was just knocked out of the game for a little bit, came back. It was being evaluated for concussion, and then, I mean, where did the artist formerly known as Tevin Coleman and Jerick McKinnon go? I mean, McKinnon hasn't had a touch since week 12. They're nowhere to be seen in this offense. So,
the term elderly comes to mind. I don't know. They're pretty old for running backs. They're pretty worn out, I think, at this point.
I think so. Well, that's basically what they said with McKinnon. He's just like, he's so tired for carrying the offense beginning of the season. But Jeff Wilson Jr., man, he's not going to blow you away athletically, but the dude runs hard. Yeah. And every week he has a chance to score a touchdown. So I think this is a pretty good one, man. Yeah. What you got for your running back?
I am going with DeAndre Washington. He's only 24% rostered. There's so many running backs in Miami who are down right now that this is a pickup that's actually likely to be a flex play at best. So if you're in the playoffs, I'm hoping that you already have some better options, but it's kind of a tough week here. We're looking to fill in last minute holes due to injury or issues that crop up as the week comes along. So it's pretty slim pickings at running back right now. So if you're talking about this guy, you're probably in the consolation bracket. I don't know. So there was a rush to sign him off the waiver wire last week in fantasy football when it was determined that Gaskin was going to be out on the IR and COVID list. Well, he's still on the IR COVID list and should be through next week. So it looks like DeAndre Washington, a little bit different on the talent level, I'm guessing. There. He should still carry quite a bit of the – no. But he should still get about 13. He had 13 carries, and with Tua throwing the ball as much as he did last week, they actually struggled to keep the offense moving. I think he had 48 attempts last week. So I would imagine they'll try to balance it a little more. You have to imagine that they will, given that it is Brian Flores, who is a defensive-minded coach. He wants to run the ball more, keep his defense off the field for longer stretches of time. And so I would imagine my guess here is that they're going to run the ball more, and that will just result in Washington getting a lot more. So look for it to be a decent split as far as the pass to run ratio. And I'm not afraid of Lynn Bowden Jr. He got 1 carry last week.
He got a lot of catches, but yeah, I mean, he's not lining up in the backfield. Like
he's McKissick.
He's going to be out in the same field at the same time. Yep.
Yeah. So I still think that he's a flex value, or he finished as a flex value in week 14, surprisingly, actually. So I think that you might be able to count on him finishing in the flex territory, because I think there will be additional opportunity. So that's where I'm going. What do you got at wide receiver?
Wide receiver, Chad Hansen. I'm going to tell you what team he plays for, Houston Texans, because you probably haven't heard of him. I mean, definitely one of the gym rat kind of guys, and high motor work ethic, all the above. He's only 2% rostered out there right now, but let me give you some stats real quick. The last 2 games, he has 14 targets, 12 catches, and 157 yards. Not bad. That actually equals out to a 21% target share coming from Deshaun Watson. So, I mean, last week, he was the de facto number 1 wide receiver after Brandon Cooks did not play, and Kiki Cutie kind of busted. He only had 3 targets. I mean, he saved it with a touchdown, but we're talking a guy, Chad Hansen, that got 7 targets from Deshaun Watson, and Kiki Cutie only got 3. So there's no reason for the Texans to really rush Cooks back, and I don't see why they would really. They're not like they're playing for a draft pick either, because all their draft picks are gone.
They should be playing. They should be in full rebuild at this point. They should be looking to acquire draft picks and trading guys like Cooks away.
Yep, they might be seeing that here in the offseason. But we got a tough matchup for Chad Hansen going against the Colts in Week 15. But they just played in Week 13, and that's whenever Chad Hansen came out of nowhere. 7 targets, 5 catches, 101 yards. And actually, Chad Hansen is technically, Kyle, still on the practice squad, because he had the 2 games where you can call up someone from the practice squad. So this is the game where they're going to have to bring him onto the active roster. So
there you go.
That's going to have to happen, because I don't know who else they're going to be rolling out there at wide receiver.
Yeah.
Yeah, who do you got at wide receiver, man?
You know what? I'm going to ring that bell again on a guy we've rung the bell on since off season, telling people to be paying attention. This was a guy who hit our sleepers all the time. It's Russell Gage. He's 11% rostered right now. And with Julio Jones out last week, Gage went and got himself 7 targets, 5 catches, 82 yards, and a touchdown. It's back-to-back weeks where he has finished as a wide receiver 3 or better. Going into Monday night, he was, I think, wide receiver 11. So that's pretty darn good. Wide receiver 11 overall. And that's awesome. So watch out for Julio's status. If he is not able to play, then I think actually Gage is kind of a plug and play wide receiver 2, potentially, with upside against Tampa Bay if Julio misses week 15. If Julio does not miss week 15, then I think that you can still risk playing Gage, but you better be in a multi-flex league to do that. But he's worth the pickup. It's a speculative ad, and you've got a really great matchup, believe it or not. Tampa Bay has been trash against the pass lately, quite a bit. And they gave up a ton on the run last week in week 14, if I remember correctly. So that's what I've got at wide receiver. What do you have at tight end?
Going back to the well on this one, this is actually your last week one, and I'm going to go ahead and hit that bell again. This is for Cole Kmet, Chicago Bears, 6% rostered right now, the pride of Notre Dame. I mean, he's seen back-to-back.
I thought that was
games.
Equanimous St. Brown.
No, you got to put some respect on Cole Kmet after that. Come on now. But back-to-back game of 7
Jimmy
targets.
Clausen. It's not Jimmy Clausen.
Oh, gosh, who was it? John Gruden said he was going to be the best quarterback out of that group. Gosh, he had the hands of a child. Clausen did.
Yeah,
he had like 7.5 inches hands or something ridiculous. I think it was 8, but still, it's very, very tiny. But I mean, he's 7 targets, back-to-back games for Cole Kmet. So last 2 weeks, 14 targets, 9 catches, 78 yards, and a touchdown. That's pretty good in today's tight end world. So he seemed to have leapfrogged Jimmy Market Setter Graham, that we like to call him. Next two matchups are pretty good. We get the Vikings, which are middle of the road, and then we have the Jacksonville Jags. Come on down. They give up the 7th most points to opposing tight ends. So I think he's a really good add to end the season. It'd be a great option for 2021. So I'm sure whenever you guys check us out here during the summer, Cole Kmet's name is going to come up. So it's going to be a good player for.
I mean, it kind of depends on what tight end they draft this.
Well, I also put this note in here. It'll be a good option for a brand new offense and a new QB, because I think they're going to clear some house.
They need to, but that doesn't mean they will. The McCaskies are cheap as heck.
That's true.
Yeah.
Oh, heck.
Who
you got as tight end?
I've got Irv Smith Jr. He's 6% rostered. It's like ashes in my mouth here talking about this guy, because he's the king of holding. So look, he's been banged up a little bit lately, but he's performed well in positive situations, and he did that in week 14. Week 15 is against the Bears, who are terrible against the tight end. So if Kyle Rudolph continues to miss time, then Smith is actually a viable passing game option, believe it or not. In week 14, he had 4 catches, I believe, on 4 targets for 63 yards and a touchdown. That was pretty darn good for tight end last week. You're looking for more of the same in week 15, but you know that the Vikings are going to try to get the running game going again, since that was why they lost in week 14. They just couldn't get that running game going. I'm not really entirely sure why. They should have been able to handle it, but they just weren't getting the blocking. Maybe Smith wasn't holding enough to get them going. I'm not sure.
That has to be
not bitter at all.
That has to be it.
It has to be it. All right, QB. What do you have at QB?
All right, Jalen Hurts, Philadelphia Eagles, 17% rostered. I wish I had the cojones to start him this week in our league, even though I'm still going to pull out the win. I'm not going to say what bracket I'm in, but welcome to the NFL, Rook. Welcome to the NFL. 17 completions out of 30 attempts, 167 yards, but he had a passing touchdown. But this is where he really carried you, 18 carries, 106 rushing yards. So the 30 pass attempts, I was actually really happy to see that, as well as the lack of negative plays in this offense, because that's what's played the Eagles this whole season, is Carson holding on the ball and a bunch of negative plays. So I think Jalen Hurts has enough of a rushing floor that he can provide a pretty good spark for your fantasy team, not only the Eagles, but your fantasy team down the stretch here. Favorable matchups for Hurts as well. Arizona's 14th against the opposing quarterback, so right in the middle of the road. But it's the Dallas Cowboys. Week 16, they give up the 7th most points to opposing quarterbacks. So, and I just have a feeling running quarterbacks should be able to do pretty well against the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. So speaking of ashes in my mouth here, I've got Mitchell Trubisky, 11% rostered. I went dirty this week, dude. Seriously, like I went full dirty. That's right. So Mitchell Trubisky, yeah, I'm gonna call him Mitchell. But I'm gonna call him Trubisky at the same time. He's been solid actually over the last 3 weeks, believe it or not. After being put back in ahead of Nick Foles, he's had 7 touchdown passes over that time frame, with 2 of the weeks actually resulting in 3 touchdowns each week. That was 3 weeks ago he had 3, and then last week he had 3 as well. You know what? He gets the Vikings in week 15, and their suspect pass defense has yielded a good amount of points to the QB, if you haven't noticed throughout the season. And look, with Trubisky, you get some upside chance that he might also be able to get you some yards on the ground. It looks like Nagy's kind of going back toward the system that they were operating out of last year, which was a more closed playbook. They endeavored to get him outside of the pocket to throw the ball with clear line of sight more often. And so as a result, it opens up the run game. And if you've noticed a little bit in the last 3 weeks, the running has ticked up just ever so slightly. It's nothing to blow you away. We're not talking Lamar Jackson. We're talking north of 20 yards or something. But it opens up the opportunity for them to have him run it in the red zone. So that is available. That is a possibility. So you do get that upside out of him. You also get the upside of the fact that this offense is starting to click a little bit better. Montgomery is going to be operating a lot better as well, because the defenses that they're facing are just trash against the run down the stretch. If you have David Montgomery, you already know that he's going to be a king for you, other than maybe Derrick Henry, throughout the playoffs. So I think that just results in a little bit less pressure on Trubisky and a little bit more opportunity for him to actually help you. So I think he also was QB5 in last week in standard scoring. Yeah, standard scoring. So
impressive.
Yeah, that's pretty impressive. I mean, you throw 3 touchdowns. Yeah, you throw 3 touchdowns. That's bound to be the case. So
yeah.
All right, that's going to do it, guys, here for our waiver wire pickups and for week 15. So make sure you hit that subscribe button as well as the bell. That way you're notified every time we upload the episodes. And we've got 4 more this week, and then we got a couple more weeks here. We're going to get you through week 17. We're going to take a little bit of a break probably after that, but then we'll be back for our off-season program. We're going to have at least 3 episodes a week, I'm guessing right now. We're working out a way that we might be able to do even more than that, but we'll hang in there for you, and we'll ratchet back up in the summer at some point. We'll start working on 2021. All right, guys, that'll do it. Thanks for being fans of the upside. We'll see you next time. Bye.
See ya.